I'd like to welcome everyone to our digital signage broadcast, episode 100. No, okay, not 100. All right. So we're going to be discussing digital signage basics. A lot of questions out there when it comes to digital signage. So this is Martin Lindsley. I just jumped off my desk and landed.
Okay.
Go on, Rob. We got to talk it through the first time.
Well,
Robert Mullen there.
This is some
Go
good
ahead.
stuff, Martin. I think we're going to get an award right off the bat for this episode. I'm Robert Mullen. Hello, everyone.
Excellent. So digital signage, Rob, let's talk about that. People want to know, what in the world is digital signage? What do you think? What do you got?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? I get calls all the time with people asking me, what is it? Where do I get it? Where they're trying to research it, and they don't know where to go. So I thought, let's do this podcast with Martin and tell everybody about it.
All right. Well, here's the problem I run into.
All right.
My mother lives in a backwater town up in northern New England. She always asks me, well, what industry are you involved in? What work do you do? And if I say I'm involved in digital signage, she goes, what is that? So, Rob, help me explain to her. What in the world is digital signage?
Digital signage is basically... Oh, by the way, do you like how I took credit for the podcast all by myself?
I had no problem with that,
Yeah,
Rob.
well, I felt bad.
You're going to get all the hate mail anyways. It's going to come from this performance. So,
All right. So digital signage basically is electronic information displayed on an LCD display. That's, in essence, what it is.
so what's an LCD display? What do you mean?
Well, it's very similar to what you have in your living room, which is a TV. And you'll see these displays hanging in places like hotels or at like QSR restaurants like McDonald's or Burger King or something like that. You also see them at manufacturing. Maybe if you go to the movies, you'll see them there. Basically everywhere.
So it'd be more like my TV, not my mom's TV, which is
yeah, she still has one of those, yes.
TV. Okay, gotcha.
Right.
All right, good. So you're just basically you're going to be showing messages on a flat screen TV is kind of the basics of what is digital signage.
Basically, yes.
Okay. All right. So why would I need digital signage? What's the big deal? A sign's a sign, right? I can just get a poster board from the Dollar Tree and write on what I need, or get something printed out. Why do I need digital signage?
Well, maybe you don't need it, right? So if all you need is a poster board with some stuff scribbled on it and you're done with it, maybe you're doing a yard sale or something, you're not going to see stop signs and yield signs out on the streets replaced with digital signs anytime soon. But digital signage is for people who have a lot of communication that they want to do to a general public. For example, at the restaurants, they're going to have digital signage used as menus, and those menus can be changed on a regular basis, maybe once a week, once a day, depending on what they want to do.
I can order my value meal off of TV. Is that what you're saying? That's genius.
It is genius. It is genius. Also, hotels use it to direct people where to go. You go in, you check into your hotel, and you don't know where your meeting is. So digital signage is going to be there. It's going to have the name of the group that you're going to visit. It's going to have the name of the room that you're going to go to and the start and stop time. To print all that up would take a lot of time, a lot of paper. But if you can just put it up on the LCD, you can have that change pretty quickly, pretty easily.
So digital signage is putting the paper mills out of business.
Not yet. It's making life convenient for a whole lot of folks, though.
So, but it sounds like, what you're saying about digital signage is mostly it's kind of like fluff. It's there to like dress up a place or give you a fancy way to display things. I mean, is there any real utilitarian use for digital signage?
Well, digital signage does spruce up a place, and it does make it look more modern and more professional, but there's a lot of real uses for digital signage. The main one is convenience and automation. For example, if we go back to those hotels, a lot of those hotels keep all their information already in a database. It's right there, ready to go, but no one can see it. It's hard to get at. You have to be the manager or somebody to get into the computer system. The average guest can't get there. But with digital signage, you could link that up to that same database, have that database automatically feed the digital signage every day, every hour, every minute. And now, instead of having to print up paper, you can have information that's up there all the time, automatically, looking great.
Well, all right, but let's say I work in a paper mill, maybe I work in an auto parts manufacturer. Do I have any need for digital signage?
Absolutely.
Why?
Again, trapped data. Data is in a database somewhere. Management wants employees to see it. Employees are going to want to see it. So if you're working in a manufacturing environment and you're making a thing, you're making it over and over and over, and you have goals and you have numbers that you want to hit every day, you can tie your real numbers that are kept in a database to the digital signage. The digital signage is going to show that information on the screen so that when you are working throughout the day, you can see whether or not you're keeping up with the pace that's required, or if you're falling behind, you need to make changes, or if you're going really fast, you can see that as well.
So if Tommy Callahan had digital signage in his factory, they wouldn't have had to shut down the brake pad division, correct?
That's right. It would have saved a lot of jobs.
And Tommy Boy would have continued to be the great movie that it has been today.
Yes, that's right.
I was wondering if you were going to catch the pop
Yeah.
culture reference there.
Yes.
All right, great. So we got digital signage, why need it, some uses of it. Again, this seems to be all very kind of like high-level stuff that you're not getting into the nuts and bolts of what maybe specific industries all that would entail. So what are the parts and pieces that I might need? Let's say I'm a manufacturing company.
Okay.
And I've been charged with putting together some type of digital signage rollout. What in the world do I need to get? What am I starting with? You already said I need a TV and I need something to put on it, but what are the parts and pieces?
Well, that's a pretty big question, probably even worthy of its own show. But I can talk about some of the basic elements of all that. And so, obviously, one of the parts you're going to need is an LCD display. And
TV, not a tube TV.
That's right.
Okay.
A flat screen, 16:9 HD TV.
I mean, I could use a tube TV, right? It just would be very,
Yes, you could use a tube TV, and you could also use just a PC, or you could use a thumb drive, and all that.
I could use it to heat up my sandwich. I could put that in the bag.
You know, in Japan, you can get little thumb drives that light cigarettes, too.
Really?
Yes, it's pretty
Man,
cool.
What will they think of? I saw Gung Ho. I don't remember seeing that in there.
No? Well, you missed out. So anyway, you're going to need an LCD display. A tube TV really is impractical because of the size and the weight, and they don't make them anymore, really. And you're going to need some sort of player, some sort of device that's going to send the signal to the LCD.
Well, don't they have TVs with that stuff kind of built in? That would
They
seem
do.
to make sense. Oh, that's my $1 million idea.
That's
No,
right.
They already have them?
That's right. You could replace, all kinds of things with that. Well, actually, what you bring up is that digital signage actually has many levels of need or professional requirements. So if you're operating a one-person store, you're operating a deli or your little store somewhere, and you're going to change your information on that screen once a month or once every 6 months or something like that, then perhaps a consumer-grade TV that does play a thumb drive will work for you because you're not going to need to make changes very often. You want the look of a digital sign, but you don't want to have to worry about any of the automation or the extra stuff that goes along with it, then that's great. I encourage you to do
I can't
that.
get high-speed internet over my antenna.
That's right.
So I don't need
Yeah,
that.
so no networking, just, you make it on Photoshop or Microsoft Paint or something and you're done.
How about PowerPoint?
PowerPoint, yes.
That's I learned that in school. PowerPoint. I can at least do PowerPoint. So all
Yeah.
right, so I could throw that out
Yeah.
if I'm a little mom and pop type operation. So there is digital signage even for us types.
Well,
Make fun of my mom and pop.
Well, okay, and then the other end of the spectrum would be like a really large factory or a multi-state or even multi-country rollout of digital signs. So, perhaps if you have a factory floor with, say, 50 screens or even just 25 screens, you're going to want to have a little more connectivity going on there, especially if these screens are mounted 25 feet up in the air, or if you have to get a man lift out to get up there and change something. You're going to want to network all the screens and the players and everything to a central source so that they can be managed at one place easily.
So that'll keep me from having to get a ladder out and run up to each TV, put in a thumb drive, and
Right.
risk all those OSHA violations
Correct.
and things like that.
Correct. You would never do it, by the way. It would be too big of a job. No one would do it. And the screens would fall into disuse. So having them networked and working on a central server that way would be the better way to go. And so the elements that go along with that are, of course, the LCD. Gonna make another
Gotta have my
CRT
TV.
joke?
No,
Okay.
no, I'm done with those. Those are retired.
Okay. So then you need a player. some sort of player that will either mount on the back of the TV or maybe go in a central location, and then you need all kinds of cabling to make it all work. Different solutions require different cables. And then you're going to need software to manage the whole thing.
That actually is starting to sound a little bit complicated now, which I guess complicated can be good if it doesn't affect me as an end user.
Well, yes, it can be complicated. The better digital signage systems really tone down that complication or the difficulty at implementing all that. Many digital signage companies will help you install that or manage it so that depending on your own skill set, you can still have a fantastic, sophisticated system up and running without having to be an IT genius.
My VCR still blinks 12
The
o'clock.
VCR, yes.
Yeah, that's all I'm
Does
saying.
anybody out there still have a VCR?
My mom
Yeah, okay.
with them CRT TVs. Come on, you know that.
Okay.
All right, well, good. So that kind of gives me a rounded out view, I guess, of where we can get digital signage from us, or what do we need for digital signage? Where do we get it from? That's actually what I really want to know. Am I going to be going down to a box store and buying my digital signage off the shelf? Do I got to put all these pieces together? How is that going to translate for me?
It's easy. All you do is Google digital signage, and you'll find one of a handful of companies that will sell you a great system.
Awesome.
I'm just-
Google is incredible, Rob.
I'm just kidding. Actually, it's kind of a nightmare finding a digital signage company because there's a million of them out there. There's just so many. So where do you get it really kind of goes back to what are you going to use it for? If you are that mom and pop small kind of location, you go to Best Buy or something to
Somebody
Get
just
your-
tried to buy some right now.
Yeah, I know. It
That
came in
was
on the
nice.
email.
Very nice.
I'm gonna move that over here. So you go to your mom and pop place like that. You get a screen from Best Buy with a thumb drive capability, and then you make your content and you put in the screen and you're done. If you're that manufacturing location, you're going to want to find a company that can handle what you're doing. So for them, I would Google something like manufacturing digital signage, something like that, so that you can find the right stuff that you're looking for and
Yes.
ask a lot of questions.
So there is help out there.
There is help out there.
And I mean, we're starting to see digital signage more and more, even though I made kind of reference to northern New England, and my hometown up there has one blinking light. But they do have a couple restaurants, fast food places, and they actually have digital menu boards up there. So now at least when I go home, I can, hey, that's what I do. I work in that industry.
Oh, fantastic.
So, very good, Rob.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much. You helped me out a lot here, and as far as going through some of these basics. We would like to thank everybody who tuned in and listened to the podcast. If you'd like some more information on digital signage, we even have a digital signage worksheet that you can download from our website, www.noventry.com. Go to our resources page, and we have digital signage downloads. There you'll find a digital signage worksheet. Gives you a bunch of questions to ask. You're going to deal with any digital signage companies as far as some things you might want to look for and some features you may need for your digital signage rollout. And if you forget what digital signage is, what can they do, Rob?
Just ask me.
Ask you, or they can go
That's right.
back and re-listen to this podcast.
That's right.
All right, sounds good. So we'll look forward to our next one. And on that one, I think the topic we have chosen is what's the difference between consumer and commercial digital signage.